Well, taxes are due in just more than 2 weeks, and if you open TikTok, you'll see dozens of so-called financial experts advising their viewers on how to save thousands of dollars on their tax bill this year. Before you file, you want to make sure that all the advice you have is legitimate and accurate. So here to give us the truth behind the trends is Adam Brewer, tax controversy attorney. Adam, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's start with the business expenses. What are the guidelines for writing off business meals and travel?
Okay, so let's start with the big picture thing. Has to be ordinary and necessary. So before you start looking for like a loophole or some way to deduct your entire trip, just keep that in mind, ordinary and necessary. And then, yeah, from there, I mean, really, we're looking at deducting either the full amount if it's entirely business purpose, or deducting some part of it if it's some personal, some business. But for meals, a lot of these TikTok advice pieces you'll see, it says, just talk about something for business, just, do some little portion of it. For the viewers out there, I would say be very cautious about that, because meals, travel, vehicle expenses, those are always going to be issues that the IRS tries to zero in on an audit, just because there's a long history of taxpayers taking advantage of those deductions.
Okay, this is good to know for anyone who hasn't filed yet, Adam. And we do see TikTok influencers also say that buying a car, an expensive car, is a quick way to save thousands of dollars on your taxes. Is that true?
It can be, but again, ordinary and necessary. So on the vehicle part, again, a lot of it is what portion is business and then what portion is personal. So I hate to see for my clients or for your viewers a big vehicle purchase. Cars are expensive these days, so I see people purchasing vehicles over $100,000. Yeah, you want to save on taxes, but you're in business to put money in your pocket, not to pay it to BMW or Mercedes or Tesla. So yeah, just be cautious on those. Again, it's got to be ordinary and necessary for your business. And then on the vehicle especially, if you're using it to drop your kids off at school or to go buy groceries or do anything else personal, that personal percentage of use, that's going to be removed from your possible tax deduction.
So one of the most misunderstood deductions might be this so-called Austa rule. Break down what this rule allows taxpayers to write off and what exactly it doesn't.
Yeah, Austa, that's a big one. I never really saw that until recently, so I even had to put it on this Schedule BS that I made to warn my clients. But yeah, the Austa rule says that you can rent your home 14 days tax-free. And that is true. You can rent your home out 14 days tax-free. But on TikTok, they take it one step further, and that's the key. And they say, hey, you're going to rent your house to your own business. So your business is going to pay you the money. You'll get the money personally tax-free, but then your business is going to deduct it. And again, ordinary and necessary. If you're a plumber, you probably don't need to be renting your house 14 days a year. There's really few businesses that would require that. So just be cautious on that one. Again, if it sounds too good to be true, we know now it probably is.
So people might think that they can deduct expenses for their pet. Is that true?
Yeah, that's a fun one. I guess, again, it depends what kind of business you're in. I say, myself, I'm a tax attorney. There's a dog somewhere back there. He might even bark on this video. But I'm not deducting any part of him for his expenses for my business. If I owned a junkyard and he was a German Shepherd, yeah, I'd probably deduct some of it. But for the most part, I would say be very, very cautious before you're claiming as a business expense anything related to a pet, whether that be a dog, a cat, or a goldfish.
Are there any, a goldfish, that would be an interesting tax deduction, Adam. Is there a tax deduction or tip that you think people might be missing?
Yeah, I mean, in the age of TikTok, everyone wants these fun, sexy deductions, like, hey, I'm going to go to Miami and deduct it. I'm going to buy a G-Wagon and deduct the whole thing. Don't overlook the basics. Save for retirement. Put some money away tax-free in your pocket. If you do have a business and it's earning money, you can put a good amount away into like a SEP IRA. So don't overlook the the classic standbys, saving for retirement. It's a great way to save on taxes. Plus, you'll have something to show for it down the road. That's not necessarily the case for a 6,000-pound vehicle.
Yeah. Well, I know the IRS says nearly 1 million people did not claim their 2020 tax returns. Money on the table. How do you make sure that you do get the money that you need?
Yeah, so if you are due a refund for 2020, you have to make sure you get that filed. You have 3 years from the due date to claim a refund. So if you haven't filed your 2020, maybe you didn't get that stimulus payment, you can claim that as a credit. But yeah, definitely, if you have complex taxes, it might be time to talk to a tax professional, a CPA, an attorney, a tax preparer, just to make sure that you are claiming what you're entitled to, but also not claiming anything that is, again, from TikTok and probably too good to be true.
Yes, I think the IRS might raise a brow or two if they see any TikTok deductions on their tax returns. Good news is you got more than 2 weeks to get those tax returns filed. We appreciate it. Adam Brewer, he's a tax controversy attorney.